Oh, clap. I had to think, I just always say it. I suppose I've always got my hands full on something, so I can't clap. I just always say clap.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Right, let's get this ready.
Now, I wonder, only because I don't want to fuck it up by either not talking loudly enough or whatever, should we do like a minute and then check it? Or do you just want to go for it?
No, just go for it.
Okay.
Right, well, I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous as
It's
well.
so performative.
Yeah.
It's just so like, hello! Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And I'm not alone for the first time ever. It's normally always me. With my partner, my boyfriend Jake, who's also now doing No Buy.
Yes.
So this is a very much wanted video of hearing No Buy from a couple's point of view. And also your point of view from the man's perspective. Because not many men are talking about No Buy, to be quite fair.
Okay, fair enough.
It tends to be a woman's thing. Why would you think that is? Do you think?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm not sure, because I'm not the kind of person that particularly follows that kind of YouTube channel, but you put it in as an idea, and I've been struggling myself financially with a bit too much outgoings for the amount of incomings.
I mean, maybe this is an oversimplification in my head of something I haven't done any research in. But I was wondering if it's the kind of like the finance bros is a very different culture. And it's all about spending money with men. It's like
true.
Cars and houses.
It's all about spending money and making money, not actually saving the money you've already got.
Yeah.
Or it's about increasing your income or increasing you buying these shiny expensive things, etc., but not so much as the actual financial stability side of it.
So it's more
financial stability through excess rather than through actual responsibility.
Yeah, so like men are not really looking at the savings thing. It tends to be very much a coded thing for women, isn't it? Like the mother saves things, they like focus on saving for the holidays and like budgeting and organising the budgeting. So it's probably more of a woman's field. But I think men could go into this field a lot more, particularly knowing how men spend their money sometimes.
Yeah.
The idea that I knew a boy, I say boy, it was only like 10 years ago, but it feels like a boy to me now, when he was boasting about how he always kept £50. He never paid his credit card off full. He always left £50 in because that was better. And I was like, no, it's not. That's not how credit works. Like, where did you learn this from?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to get into the whole credit score rules because it's completely bonkers. It's like, okay, well, you need to borrow something, but you're not allowed to borrow too much. But if you don't borrow anything at all, you've got a bad credit score because you're not proving the fact that you can borrow.
Yeah.
And it just becomes
I can be poor if you want me to prove
absolute mess. Yeah, exactly.
I can be really poor. I can prove it, I promise. Well, with No Buy, I saw a couple of comments on my last video where I talked about doing a couples No Buy, that someone was like, oh, it's ridiculous to say it is more affordable to live as a single person than as a couple. And I think there's two types of couples. There's obviously couples who live together, so the budgeting is much easier and more cost effective.
Yeah.
But when it's a couple who doesn't live together, I feel like it's a way more expensive lifestyle.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of added, we live 20 minutes away from each other by car. So, and we're looking to the future and that sort of thing to move in together. But at the moment, there's petrol excess driving back and forth between each other. It's like, oh, well, let's go out for brunch or let's do that. It's very easy to spend money, basically.
It's very easy to just be like, oh, I see something that Jake would like and buy it, or your mother's birthday, or your father's birthday, or then Christmas. It's like I was like, if there was none of that there, it would just be me in my flat by myself.
Well, exactly.
Which would be sadder.
Exactly. I'd be buying the supermarket shop and not an enormous amount else.
Exactly.
Little bits and pieces, maybe the odd video game, etc. Or but not no weekends away, nowhere near as many takeaways or going out for brunches and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So the way as a couple, I was like, this is more of our first stage of our relationship, doing a No Buy. It would look different if we were married or living together. So that's like a thing to take in mind if someone's doing this as a couple. But I think where we're starting already, we feel confident even though it's only been like 3 weeks in. We're like, yes, we're kicking No Buy's butt.
Yeah.
And our rules, actually no, let's start with you because you're more interesting. How No Buy is going to impact you based on your life experience and like how you can apply No Buy rules and where you can't apply No Buy rules.
So I work away from home on a very busy year, possibly 7 months of the year, trying to cut back on that and try and stay at home a bit more, but so I get to see Cinzia and I get to actually live where I live. But that does mean that I spend a lot of time in hotels, airports, eating out in restaurants because it is my only option. My work organises all the hotels, so I can't even choose to say stay in an Airbnb where there's a kitchen. And I'm often in and out of a city, staying there for one, maximum probably 4 nights, and then I'm off to somewhere else. So I travel a lot. Don't get that opportunity to even settle in and have a supermarket shop or anything similar. So a big thing for my no-buy, and 2 of the major expenses that I've been looking at, is combination of takeaway food and restaurant food, because often that's my only option. But I am very guilty of doing that when I'm home as well, because obviously we want to go out and have a nice time as well. And travel. I'm very bad for. I use Ubers far too often, and I've already was cutting back on that last year, but that I'm going to do my absolute best to use public transport, etc. I might have to carry a suitcase on a bus occasionally, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to kill me. Yeah. Just something I've got to work on. And then the food-wise, I need to really look at either getting bits and pieces in that I can eat of an evening, we call it a hotel picnic. Yeah. Instead of ordering often £20-30 of takeaway once you've added in the service charges and the delivery fees and etc. So trying to cut back on that, but then I've also bought some I think it's a My Protein meal
it's
kit.
like a protein ready meal thing.
Yeah, so you put a scoop, add hot water. Every hotel basically has got a kettle, so that's an option. Even if I'm not eating that all the time, it's going to save 20 quid every time I do eat it, when the whole tub of it that's got 20 meals in it was 30 quid.
Yeah, but yours is important because it shows you that a lot of people used to compare their no-buy ideas to my no-buy ideas. And no-buy can't be applicable to everyone in the same degree. No. Obviously Jake gets given some money by an employer. Yeah, I get per diem with my work, so I get a small amount of money on top of what I get paid for food. Yeah, but obviously sometimes easy to go over. Yes, especially in the PDs. PDs have been the same since I started working 8 years ago. Whereas the cost of food has skyrocketed. Now I'm lucky if I haven't spent over the £25 on one meal. I end up sinking the PDs I got on the work days on the days off anyway. Jake's is a great example of how sometimes lifestyles impact no-buy rules, and you can't really stick to them the same way. You can't. I think you can put it in the same kind of vein as weight loss, where not everything works for everyone. Yes, if you actually lay it down, it is all about calories in, calories out. But at the same time, what one person might really enjoy walking, another person loves going to the gym and lifting weights. There's different ways metabolisms
of things. And metabolisms as well, yeah.
Some people don't process certain proteins well enough. And I want to say also with you, there are things that you have implemented that are kind of brand new to no-buy. So do you want to talk through the things that you've actually kind of given up? And then we can talk about things that we're doing as a couple. Yeah, so I'm not an enormous drinker, but I have a drink now and again, definitely. And I've realised that actually I'm not really getting anything out of drinking. I don't enjoy going to nightclubs and getting slaughtered. I don't enjoy I don't mind a couple of pints in a pub, but I don't enjoy getting really drunk anymore. So I thought, well, actually it's a very easy thing to do, is just cut out buying alcohol. I've got some whiskey at home. If I want one occasionally, then I can have one. I've just decided to not buy any more alcohol this year. And maybe some people think I'm boring at work, that I don't want to go to the pub afterwards, or I can go to the pub and have a soft drink. And you can socialise in those moments. I can socialise in those moments, exactly. And whereas actually if I probably went through my bank statement and looked at alcohol, it's not thousands and thousands of pounds, but it's going to make a difference, seeing as how expensive it is these days. Yeah, particularly with your work, because his work, and people may have similar jobs, socialising is a huge part of the work processing, and that involves usually socialising late at night. And if that happens every other night, that adds up. And also maybe, I'm not sure if I've asked you about this, but I wonder how much the currency changes as well, quick currency changes, may influence how much money you have access to. Yes, that is very true, yeah. So I spend a lot of my time in and around Europe, and obviously the majority of Europe's in euros, but all of Scandinavia, certain other countries as well, they all have their own currency, and each exchange rate is slightly different, and then also the cost in each country, even if they're all countries using euros, the cost is different depending on where you are. Yeah. So you might turn up one place, and we were in Iceland. And we went out for dinner, and I thought I'll have a beer with my dinner. I looked at it, and the beer was the equivalent of £12.
And I thought, I'm not having one of those. I'll have an orange juice.
You're going around East Asia in a couple of months' time,
Yes.
and you'll be swapping from yen in Japan to, I think you're going to Thailand.
Yes,
Is it Thailand?
Singapore.
Yeah. You're swapping countries rapidly between a few days, and
it's one thing, you know, I probably won't change money because I'm in a place for such a short period of time. Maybe I will if there's a lot of places that only accept cash, but it's still got to calculate using your credit card. In fact, it's easier to spend much more money using a card than it is using cash, because you just tap it and go, I'm sure that was all right. You look at your bank statement later and go, ooh, that was expensive.
Yeah. With money abroad, I know you have a card which allows you to do that without fees, don't you? Because sometimes you go abroad and you get the fees on top of that, which is what I've experienced. Yeah. But you don't have that problem.
No,
so he's not promoting just using your card abroad.
No.
Exactly.
Because
there are fees.
Yeah. So I've got a debit card that gives me 0 fees abroad, which makes that exchange rate much easier. But it does still make it very easy to spend money if it's still contactless. But that's the same in the UK or the States or Europe. It doesn't, or Asia. It doesn't matter. It's, you know, contactless makes it very easy to just go, oh, boop.
Or particularly when it's on your phone.
Yes.
It's even, you can at least forget your wallet sometimes, but now you haven't even got that excuse to forget your wallet.
Yeah.
But as a couple, we obviously have no-buy rules that are shared. So obviously you have your version and I have my version. Some things we've done without sharing, but we have similar rules. So like Jake got rid of Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's the only one you had, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was realising that I was sat there spending more time scrolling through Netflix, trying to find something I was interested in watching than I was actually watching something.
Yeah.
I thought there's no point me spending it's tenner at least a month now, isn't it? Every month for something that I'm really not really enjoying that much.
You can do that on YouTube for free.
I can do that on YouTube for free. I did the same with Amazon.
Yeah, we both got rid of Amazon.
I found that I was paying an Amazon subscription, not ordering very much to get the Amazon Prime delivery, and then also finding that 80% of the things that I searched to watch were behind another paywall.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And I know for myself, Amazon really did not align with a lot of my ethics and morals.
Yes.
And getting rid of that finally, I was actually more trigger happy to spend things when it was free delivery than conscientiously thinking about it and going, actually, do I really want this thing? Or do the dogs really need this blanket kind of thing, whatever it was I was buying? Now I think about it, and I saw a good phrase about convenience kills, and convenience kills not only like the planet or the workers by exploiting them, but also us. Like, why not walk to the shops if you can? Or, you know, just like the kind of moment that actually it doesn't have to be that fast paced anymore. We're not really slowing down.
And also for the first time, I mean, obviously my birthday's a good while off, a good 5 months off, but it does make me more excited for my birthday and Christmas. Because I'm like, previously I was like, well, I want that right up until a few weeks before my birthday, where the people in my life would ask me, what would you like for your birthday? And I'd go,
bought it.
No idea, because I've bought all the things that I wanted, and anything else that was left on my list I only hadn't bought because it was too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
So actually, if I go, okay, well, let's write down what you want, and if you still want it in a few months when it's your birthday, you can ask someone for it, and if you're not interested anymore, then you didn't need it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've saved the production of whatever it was, you've saved the shipping, you've saved the actual delivery, you know, and so it's great for the environment in that sense as well.
Yeah.
If you're not, you know, I know that myself and my dad are both guilty of, you know, we'll end up, when I used to live at home, we'd end up with 4 or 5 different deliveries from Amazon over the course of a week. Because I'd ordered something, he'd ordered something separately, you know, and then we'd ordered something else, but then realised we needed something else to go with it, but not put it on the same delivery, and it was terrible.
But also for date nights. So we love spending time with each other. But even from a date perspective, we gave ourselves a maximum of £25 for a date. So that can be spread out. So I've already cut into mine because I bought us an art gallery.
The museums here are all free. So we went to the
National Art
Museum, and it's free to enter. But there was a special exhibition on.
Yes.
And we were interested in knowing a bit more about all the paintings because they didn't have the little plaque next to it.
No.
So we bought the.
They paid for the plaque information.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun. Like I was like, I can't believe I'm paying for this information. But I thought to myself, I love the art gallery. I'm supporting the art gallery by doing this. 'Cause it's the only way they can make any money. But also, we ended up, it was the prices of what they were selling for were in this like document. So he was going around judging artists.
£2,500. I wouldn't pay 100 for that.
The £14,000 one was atrocious. But then that's fun. That's a fun experience that we conscientiously thought about. Oh, I'm going to be spending this money. That cuts down me to £19 for the rest of our date nights, which you haven't cut into yours at all.
No.
And I've got mine as well. So as a couple, you can kind of work it out
that's
between
per
the two
month,
of you. Per month.
To clarify, we're going to do £25 each per month. So actually, we can go out for a small lunch together twice, or we can go out for one big dinner. But I also love to cook.
Yeah, he's an amazing cook.
I'm more than happy to, make an interesting little something or other, and we have a date night in. It doesn't mean we can't have dates because we can't spend money. I've already multiple times we've popped out, say we went to a big shopping complex near me to go to the Hobbycraft store because I needed some tools bits for work.
You weren't buying a Hobbycraft thing?
No, so I went in, bought the one thing I needed, but previously I would have looked at it and we'd have gone to this shopping complex. We probably would have hung around, maybe had lunch, or we'd have had a coffee from Starbucks, or we would have, looked into some of the other shops.
We'd definitely gone to the bookshop.
The bookshop that's there. I like Pro Cook, so there's a few bits and pieces in there, obviously all very expensive.
But easily you would have paid an extra like £20.
I could easily see us taking that trip that cost me £6 for the one thing that I needed, costing 40 easily, which is ridiculous, and it shouldn't. Which is why I'm decided I need to do the no buy because my outgoings are not matching up with my income.
Yeah, I was like, we didn't need the coffee, but we wanted one, but then we're like, we don't need it, so let's just go.
We can come back and have a nice cup of tea.
Obviously, some people ask about tracking processes. This is where I'm weakest.
I'm freelance, self-employed, so I do my taxes in January. Well, they need to be submitted by January, but I often do them and submit them in January and hate the monumental task that hits me at the end of the year instead of just keeping up to date with it and doing it as I go and spending 20 minutes on it a week. And it'd be easy. And it'd be
so much easier, even if you did it straight away.
Instead, I let it hang over me.
Yeah, I take all the photographs of the receipts and I have to then go through my photographs instead of just like doing it then and there.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to do is keep access to my Google Form sheet where I have expenses and just document everything as I spend it. I have shortcuts and everything. I have no excuse. There's an app where I have a shortcut now. It'll bring up the spreadsheet for me, so I have no excuse not to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. I'm terrible at budgeting or keeping a track of the budget, as it were. It's almost more like, well, the more money came in than went out this month, so that'll do. Which is not great.
That's not a great way of doing it at all.
But for me, for the no buy, I almost would rather have a ticker of how much I've saved, but that's almost an impossibility because it would be like, well, actually, I'll walk to the Starbucks, I'll read how much the drink I was going to get costs, and then I'll write that down and then not buy it. So it's too complicated to do it that way around. But hopefully by the end of the year, I'll be able to look at my bank account and go, there's a nice bit of savings in there.
I know some people have said comments on below where they have like their notebook of everything they want to buy, and you get it out your system by writing it down. So you could have a page of just the things that you wrote down, and it also may turn into a birthday sheet. Like even today, while Games is coming out with a third game, The Little Nightmares.
Yes.
And we're like, we can't buy that. I went, wait, but your birthday. What if it comes out in time for that? I was like, I can give it to you for the birthday.
I've always enjoyed and benefited from being a couple of generations behind on video games.
Yeah, I know. We're a bit screwed there.
So
the dog's having drama.
We went to CEX, which is, for those that don't know, a second-hand video games shop, and we got 4 games for £30.
Yeah.
This is last year, by the way, just to clarify.
Yeah,
we're not
spending more money on
it. Whereas you can't get a single game for £30, not a AAA game on new consoles. Whereas I think we're still on PlayStation 4, so it keeps things financially positive in that fashion as well.
Well, we have a lot of games in storage.
Yeah.
If we get to the end of our game pile, then maybe we can be like, actually...
No, exactly. We've been playing The Witcher at the moment.
Oh god, we'll never finish The Witcher this year. But I swear games used to feel like they were longer when I was younger. Or maybe I just really enjoyed Pokemon dragging that thing out to its nth degree. Because I would love to look at my numbers of how many hours I spent on Pokemon and never actually did the bloody league at the end.
I think I've once defeated them. I'm terrible for it. Just pootling around, having fun.
I wasn't interested in that bit. I was interested in all the build-up. If anything, I didn't want the game to end. I feel like The Witcher's been built for millennials who don't want the game to end. Predicting possible struggles for both of us and maybe potential reward systems. We kind of touched on that a bit with reward systems.
I mean, reward systems wise, yes, we've touched on that. we can, obviously there's birthdays and Christmas to look forward to. We're not denying buying gifts for people. No. We're not gonna ring someone up and go, you're not getting a Christmas present this year because I'm on a no-buy year. We're not so close to the bottom line financially that we can't still do nice things for our loved ones. But difficulties wise, I think it's going to hit me really hard when I eventually am forced to buy my first meal out at work, because there just often isn't an opportunity. The last time I was away, it was basically work day, travel day, work day, travel day for 2.5 weeks, and every single one of those travel days had us in an airport over lunchtime, and then you're on a plane for 2.5 hours flying around Europe. So it's like you have to eat then, and then airports are viciously expensive because they've got a monopoly on everything, unless you're just buying snacks. But then on top of doing the no buy, we're both trying to lose a little bit of weight as well. So I can't go, oh well, I'll save my money by not spending £25 on a burger, but I will buy a packet of crisps, a bag of nuts, unhealthy, highly processed sandwich from a thing, and then still end up paying £15 because it's that expensive.
So maybe it'd be a better update for you after a few months of travelling, and you come back and like, oh my goodness, that was so hard.
Yeah.
And maybe that you weren't able to.
But then I can also easily see that already this year, I've probably been a couple of times where I might have bought a takeaway, and I've said, no, you're not allowed. And I've actually found that easier in regards to the healthy eating side of things than actually intentionally eating well. Just going, you can't have that because it's on the no buy. And actually that makes my brain go, nope, not allowed.
Yeah.
And it's much easier than going, no, you can't have a pizza because it's unhealthy. And it's like, yeah, but I want a pizza. Okay, I'll get a pizza.
It sounds bad that I think more in terms of my long-term health and security financially than biologically, which I think is a twisted kind of corkscrew of capitalism.
It's that instant gratification thing. Yeah. Well, not that that's instant gratification necessarily, but...
Yeah, but the idea that I care more about my financial security than my own health is horrifying to me.
Yeah, super.
I was like, that was more motivating for me, but it shows you how much capitalism has us by the throat.
Yeah.
Just like...
It really does. It really does.
But I think that's it. I think we've done what we can do. If you have any requests or suggestions, please let
or
me
if you
know
think
below.
we've missed anything
that we can do.
That you wanted to know about in regards to our doing it as a couple.
Yes. But thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Jake, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you soon for another video. And remember, I can never say that. Books save lives, so keep reading.